The Speaking Statements, the podcast of statements about the 50 U.S. states. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell for alerts for when a new episode is released.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the fourth episode of the Speaking Statements. We have another guest here. We're so excited to announce someone who's lived in Ohio for super duper long, Miss Katie Anstandig.
Thanks for inviting me on your show.
Got a couple of questions. My first question is, what city in Ohio are you from?
Okay, so I'm from a city called Upper Arlington, Ohio. So instead of Arlington Heights, it's Upper Arlington. So similar name to where we live here in Illinois. It's just about 15 minutes northwest of Columbus, which is the capital of Ohio. So right about in the middle.
My second question is, do you know why Ohio is called the Buckeye State? By the way, what's a
Yeah.
Buckeye?
Okay. Well, there's a couple different kinds of Buckeyes. So it's called the Buckeye State because of the Buckeye trees. There were lots of Buckeye trees when Ohio was first developed. There's still a lot. They're very common there. The tree is called the Buckeye because it grows these big spiky balls. And if you crack open that spiky part, there's this very smooth, dark brown seed inside of it, which is what the tree grows from. But it looks sort of like the eye of a deer. So the buck is actually a male deer. So the buckeye, it looks like a deer's eye is what that ball looks like. And then actually Ohio State, they are called the Buckeyes after the tree also. All the sports teams have a mascot, and he's a Buckeye, and his name is Brutus. So that's another Buckeye. And then there's one more. There's a dessert that people in Ohio like to make called a Buckeye, and it's a peanut butter ball dipped in chocolate. So it looks kind of like a Buckeye from a tree. So there's lots of Buckeyes in Ohio.
Delicious.
But the tree is where it all comes from.
My third question is, have you ever visited the states that border Ohio?
Yes. So I've been to all the states that border Ohio. When we were kids, we would take road trips to all the different states. So there's Michigan in the north, Pennsylvania is on the east, and then to the south there's West Virginia and Kentucky, and then Indiana. So we go through Indiana a lot when we travel from Illinois to Ohio. We always travel through Indiana.
That's cool. My fourth question is, have you ever been to the capital, Columbus?
So I'm from Upper Arlington, like I said, which is just about 15 minutes away from Columbus. So we would go into Columbus a lot to visit the museums and the zoo. They have a big garden called Franklin Park Conservatory. That's pretty neat to visit. So similar to here, where it's like we're in Arlington Heights, but we visit Chicago a lot to go see the museums and like aquarium and neat things that a city has. So we would go into Columbus a lot to see some of those neat things.
Okay, very interesting. My fifth question and last question is the northern Ohio the same or different from southern Ohio?
Yeah, they're a bit different. Not too different, but a little bit. Some of the big differences are, I would say, northern Ohio, in terms of the geography and the climate. And northern Ohio is a lot colder because you kind of get the lake effect. They get a lot of snow in the winter, whereas southern Ohio has more mild winters. So northern Ohio is flatter, kind of like a lake town. And then in the south, it's kind of like there's a lot of rivers that run through there. So there's a lot of valleys. So they actually get a lot of hills. So it's much hillier. General, it's more rural. I would say northern Ohio is a little more industrial. There's a lot of like car manufacturing, and there's a big shipping industry in northern Ohio, which southern Ohio has more farms. I would say there's two big cities. So outside of Columbus, there's two big cities in Ohio. So in the north, the big city is called Cleveland. In the south, the big city down south is called Cincinnati. So they've got different cities, and they both have professional football teams and professional baseball teams, and they're kind of rivals. So I guess there's a bit of a rivalry against versus South and the North. Kind of like in Chicago, we have like the White Sox and the Cubs. It's a little bit like that in Ohio with the North and the South.
Thanks for being on the show. We were so glad to have you here, and tell us all about Ohio.
Oh, you're so welcome. I hope you visit Ohio soon.
Maybe we will.
Oh,
Bye.
baby. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Now let's get on with my notes. Lake Erie is north of Ohio. That's one of the Great Lakes. It's the 17th state. It became a state in 1803. Columbus, the capital, is the biggest city. Cleveland and Cincinnati are the next biggest cities. LeBron James, a famous basketball player. Thomas Edison, who is known for inventing the light bulb and many other things. And Ulysses S. Grant, who was the 18th president, were all born in Ohio. Indigenous people have lived in Ohio for thousands of years. The Ohio River is south of Ohio. Ohio, which is what the Native Americans named the Ohio River, is how Ohio got its name. A serpent mound in Adams County is the biggest in the United States. Now we'll do the fast facts of Leo. Leo, what have you got for us? What is the state tree? The state tree is the Ohio Buckeye. What is the state flower? It's the scarlet carnation. What is the state bird? The state bird is the cardinal. What is the state reptile? The state reptile is a black racer snake. What is the state beverage? It's tomato juice. And what is the state insect? The state insect is a ladybug. What is the state animal? The state animal is a white-tailed deer. What is the state fruit? Tomato. Thanks for doing the fast facts. Thank you for having me on your podcast. And last but not least, the Ohio corridor has the shape of Ohio with an astronaut on one side and the old plan on the other. That's all for today. But check in next week. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Speaking Statements.